Bam! What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this latest episode of the Ominus Show. It is an incredibly wonderful show that we have, or that I have planned for you. I can't believe this is happening. I'm going to freak out just like I did last time with Bosch. I don't know what's going to happen. Super excited, super worried, stressed, nervous, all that stuff. I have a legend. I thought Bosch was big, and no disrespect to Bosch. I love Bosch. But the guest that I have for you guys today is the biggest guest that has graced the screen of this humble YouTube show. There's no need for an introduction. I could just say his name, and then you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. I hope you guys are in for. I hope you guys can kick back, relax, and enjoy. I have a long list of questions. Hopefully, I can pick this gentleman's brain, and then get to hear more about his creative process, his career, projects he's working on now, and just other questions that I have for myself. I'm also going to debut a new segment of the show with my guest. I'm going to do like a lightning round type thing where I'm going to ask a series of quick questions, try to get as many as I can in, and hopefully it works. If not, then I'll make the necessary adjustments. And then if time permits, I will also give you some updates about my comic, Ominus, some updates about that. And then hopefully everything goes smoothly. And yes, just quickly, I wanted to say hi to some of the people in the chat. We got Dennis. What's going on, Dennis? Good to see you. It's a pleasure. Pity Ma, thank you very much for stopping by. I'm always wondering if you are a male or a female. Not that it matters, but the Ma makes it seem like it's a girl. I don't know. If you wouldn't mind revealing, but if not, no worries. Thank you very much. Either way, Pity Ma for being in the chat. We got Mikey Getz. What's up, man? Thank you very much for stopping by. And yes, if you have any questions for anybody for our guest today, please put it in the chat, and I'll try to read it off and then ask him while I can. Okay, awesome, sweet. What's going on, Pretty Ma? Thank you very much for your help and your support. If hold on, before we continue, let me make you a mod. Help us out with some of the links. I don't have any links today, because I wanted to share with you guys my my comic. But I don't have any of those. Hold on, let me see. As a moderator, yeah. I wanted to share in this case any campaigns that my guest might have, but I don't know what currently he's got going on, because we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, for any other mods in the chat, please, if you can, share the links out as we bring them up during the chat. And so yeah, so without any further ado, let's please give a warm round of applause for my guest, the legendary Mike Barron. Please, big round of applause. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Mr. Barron. Can I call you Mike? Is that okay?
Sure.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much for stopping by. It's a tremendous honor of mine to have you here. And please, what's been going on with you? How are you doing today?
Well, it's raining out here, which is good because we need rain. I've been trying to grow grass on my lawn for 12 years, and maybe it'll happen this year, but I doubt it. And I'm working on a million projects at once, as usual, and I'd be happy to tell you about them. The big news is that Leviathan just shipped, and backers are getting it, and they're thrilled. The reports have been stellar, and we're very happy about that. Let me show you what Leviathan is.
Would you like for me to bring it up, or do you? Because I wasn't.
If you have it, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can do it, but you can do it too.
Yeah. Because I wasn't sure which project to pull up, because I saw that it was fulfilling, and I wasn't sure if that one was wrapped, or if you were still, or if you had it in demand, or if you're working on another project at the moment, because you have so many campaigns out.
Well, that's the key to creativity, is to work on more than one campaign at a time.
Yeah. And this one, if I'm sharing it on the screen here, this one is closed.
It's still available if you go to my website,
Okay. I'm looking at the.
baroncomics.com. By the way, that that total that they're showing is from just one of the crowdfunding platforms we use. We use
Yeah,
three
that was.
crowdfunding platforms. We always use Fund My Comic because they're the most
Yeah,
friendly, especially to comic creators, and we use Kickstarter and Indiegogo as well.
awesome. Let me stop sharing that. That's the Indiegogo one.
No. Play the video.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll do that. Let's check that out. Can you guys hear that in the chat? Let me know if you guys
Yes.
can hear that in the chat.
Yes, I can hear it in the chat.
When a series of shipping disasters points to a mysterious sea monster, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson leave the comfort of Baker Street and board a freighter where they encounter unexpected betrayal and come face to face with the enigmatic Captain Nemo and his submarine, the Nautilus. As they delve deeper into the case, they uncover a conspiracy involving a Russian Tsar with an airship that rains destruction on unsuspecting cities. With time running out and the world on the brink of war, the heroes must use all their skills and resources to stop a massive conspiracy and prevent global conflict. From Eisner-winning writer Mike Barron and illustrator Richard Bonk, dive into the depths of adventure and unravel the mysteries of the sea with the world's greatest detective in Leviathan. Order now on Indiegogo.
Yeah, awesome stuff, man. Awesome. Oh man, if I may ask you, what brought you to do that project?
Well, I've always been a Sherlock Holmes fan. I've read many of the books. A couple of years ago, I started watching Holmes movies. I don't know why, but I watched about 20 of them. I mean, there are more Sherlock Holmes movies than you can probably watch in a lifetime, and there are more Sherlock Holmes novels now than were ever published by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He's probably the most popular fictional character of all time, and I'm a fan. And the reason I'm a fan is because his personality is so intriguing, and I think that's what hooks everybody in. That he's this genius that can deduce so much from tiny clues that just escape everybody else's notice. At the same time, he's not comfortable or easygoing in his social relations. Today, we look back at him and we say this guy was probably autistic, mildly autistic. And autism is a mental affliction which affects your ability to communicate with others and makes you awkward socially, but it sometimes compensates in other fields. Many people think Elon Musk is autistic, for example. That's
That
the
would make
campaign.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the campaign we're about to launch. And I have to point out that these giant, oversized, hardbound Nexus
Huh.
omnibus are going to contain every issue ever published by First Capital and Dark Horse, and that the first one is 886 pages.
Wow. 886 pages. Yeah, I didn't mean to stray you from you were commenting on Sherlock Holmes and he could have an Asperger's. I think Asperger was what you had mentioned before in a different interview. That might be
Probably.
awesome. And I also wanted to, if you would allow me to look back. I don't think I have enough time. I don't think it's impossible to condense your entire career in just an hour or maybe an hour and a half. But I will try my best. And I wanted to start by asking you, what was it about comics that appealed to you? Like, how did you get hooked into the medium of comics? Not necessarily like working in it, but what was it that got you hooked into the medium?
Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge.
When I was a child, growing up in Mitchell, South Dakota, I picked up an Uncle Scrooge comic and I read it. And even as a child, I recognized that this was a superior form of entertainment. And as time went on, I read more and more of Carl Barks' work. He wrote and illustrated Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge for Walt Disney for many years. I don't think he had any editorial interference during that period. And the result was perhaps the most uh, perfect example of the comic book form I've ever seen. Barks' stories were very sophisticated. They're not just for kids, they're for anyone with a mind. There's not a wasted word or a wasted picture in any of them. They're wildly entertaining. They veer from humor to pathos, often in the space of the same page. They're probably the greatest example of comic book storytelling I've ever seen.
Wow. Anything since then that you would say is as good as that work, or is that just in a league of its own?
It is in a league of its own. There are many great comics I've enjoyed over the years. Frank Miller's Daredevil, The Watchmen, Swamp Thing, Master of Kung Fu, uh, many other books. But for the most part, most comics are pretty bad, and that's not a secret. Uh, and I think we'll all agree that there was a great science fiction writer named Theodore Sturgeon, and he created Sturgeon's Law.
Mm.
90% of everything is crap. And he's right. 90% of the TV shows are crap, 90% of the movies are crap, and 90% of the comics are crap. It's always been that way, and it probably always will be that way. Comics are transparent. They seem like such a simple medium. It's just words and pictures on paper. Everybody thinks they can do a comic, and everybody does. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be gripping entertainment. To create a comic that grabs the reader by the throat uh, requires not only imagination but an understanding of the medium, of what you can do and what you can't do. It's a unique medium, and not that many people understand it. I would say that during the heyday of the undergrounds,
Mm.
when you had artists like Robert Crumb and Gilbert Shelton and Rand Holmes producing their own works, that they understood the medium better than most professional comic book creators today. And the proof is in the pudding. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. But if not, I'd urge you to look for those old Crumb comics, or
Yeah.
for Gilbert Shelton's Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. And I don't mean the TV show. The TV show was just awful. I don't know why they did that, but I'm glad Gilbert got a few bucks out of it. Uh, but
Nice.
but though they wrote those stories out of personal experience, and because of
And,
that, they have the ring of truth about them, even when they're absurd stories about, like, the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers uh, running from Norbert the Narc or whatever. But it's just I can tell that they wrote those comics not by writing out a script ahead of time, but by moving from panel to panel and thinking, what happens next? And that's how you get a great comic. Uh,
it, and is there like a certain amount of time that you'd have to work, or do you have to study, or you have to analyze the medium of comics to say that you get it, or is that something innate with certain people?
I always felt I had a flair for comics, and the first professional comic I created was Nexus with Steve Rude.
Mhm.
So I was right. However, I set out to write novels, and it took me
Oh,
30
nice.
years to learn how to write a novel because I'm a slow learner. But when I get it, I get it. And I'm writing novels now too, and I'm very happy with them for the most part. Uh, but the trick to comics is to understand the medium and to have an interesting story to tell. But there's so much more than that. So much more than that.
A
Uh,
lot of nuances, no?
well, yeah, I mean, just a few things is in your comic, people have to speak the way real people talk. And if you have them speak in stilted jargon, like they do in most corporate comics, where they're constantly, they say, whoever they're in the room with, they say their name every time they say something to them, like, Lois, what would you like for breakfast? I don't know, Clark. What would you like for breakfast? Lois, how
Mm.
would you feel like bagels and lox? I don't know, Clark. Do you have any bagels and lox? Well, Lois, let me look. And I mean, we've all seen that before. It's ridiculous. That's not the way real people talk.
Mm.
And then, of course, there's the moments that Stan Lee created. He created a language all his own. And when he introduced those words in those situations, with the collaboration of the artists he was working with, mostly Jack Kirby. They hit you right between the eyes because they hit the bullseye for their time and their age and the language. It was just right, and that's why we remember phrases like "face front true believer" and "face it tiger, you just hit the jackpot,"
Yeah.
and "it's clobbering time." In darkest day and brightest in darkest night and brightest day, no in brightest day and darkest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Those words were appropriate to the time and the moment in which they appeared, and so they resonate with us. But unfortunately, they resonate too hard with some people who can't get them out of their mind. Uh, and so over and over again, how many times have we read, "I don't think we're in Kansas anymore,"
Yeah.
or "Move it, people," or "We have to talk"? Now, it's true that people do say "Move it, people," and "We have to talk," but it's a cliche. And I think it's the writer's job to find a way to express those sentiments without using hackneyed language. As far as "I don't think we're in Kansas anymore," nobody should ever use that again for any purpose.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
would
I
like
hear
to,
that.
and I'd like to point out that Eric Weathers just released his second Battle Brick Road,
Battle
which is a
Brick Road. Yeah,
retelling of the
and
story of
fulfilling.
the
Yeah,
Wizard of Oz, and Eric never uses that phrase.
and that would be the perfect place to use it. No, but he,
No, it's not the perfect place to use it.
intelligent.
No place it's a perfect place to
Yeah.
use it.
Oh, but yeah, I get what you're saying. And so you got it hooked with Scrooge, and then at what point did you feel that you were able to create and work in the medium? Like when did you feel that you can contribute and you started playing with started working and writing for comics?
It was probably around 1981 where I learned that Capital City Distribution wanted to publish their own comics, and I had just met Steve Rude. And
Okay.
I'm looking at Steve's portfolio, and I said, "Dude, what do you want to do?" He said, "Well, I want to make comics, but I can't write. What do you want to do?" And that was the moment I said, "Well, all right, this is an opportunity. I can't let this go to waste." They wanted a costume superhero. But I didn't want to do anything that had been done before. I wanted to be
Yeah.
original. So I went home and I wrote the first 12 pages of Nexus by drawing them out by hand. And that's how I wrote comics for 25 years. Every comic I wrote for Marvel or DC, a Punisher, Dead Man, whatever it was, I wrote those comics by drawing each page out by hand. Uh, and if you want to create comics, I recommend you try it, whether you can draw or not.
Yeah.
I draw a little bit, well enough that you can see what I have in mind. I mean, it's not professional art. But editors and artists loved it because they could tell at a glance. They could look at that page and see exactly what was on it. And I included all the dialogue and all the directions that they would need. And it taught me some invaluable lessons, such as how much weight can a page bear? And by that, I mean, how many pictures, how many words? Is it appropriate? Are there too many words? And comics must have words. Wordless comics don't appeal to me. The art
Hmm.
may be appealing, but there's no nuance to the story. You got to have words, but you can't have too many words. And there's finding that balance between just the right amount of words and the pictures is one of the keys to creating a really good comic. Um,
Yeah, excellent. And because I've heard you mention before now that write as many words as the page can hold. Like there has to be like a certain weight to it that you mentioned. I've heard
yeah,
I've seen a bunch of your interviews. I recently saw the Mark Millar interview, which was great, and you talk about many different things there also. And so you say that how can you, or what would be your like a sweet spot for how many words or how many panels you could put on a page?
well, it doesn't. You can't set hard and fast rules. It demands on the situation. Um,
Mm.
but every time I look at anything I've written, I find a way to improve it by taking words out. I try to be concise, and this is just important. This is another very important rule of writing comics: is that people have
Mhm.
to speak the way real people talk. It has to
Mhm.
sound the way real people talk. If it doesn't, the reader's going to say, It's just a comic book. I don't believe this because these people aren't real. And 90% of comics aren't real in that way because the language they use is hackneyed, it's borrowed from other comics, or it's too verbose, or else they're trying to draw attention to their vocabulary and they'll stick in a $2 word when a 2-bit word would do just as well. And
Mm.
if you want to know how do real people talk, well, just say it out loud or speak it to somebody. Say it to your wife, your girlfriend, or whoever you're with. If you have a little comic group, just say, "Okay, guys, does this sound natural to you? Does this sound like the way real people talk?" And then you say it.
Well, and what happens in cases like when you have a script where you feel that it's natural, it feels like it's well said, you feel like this is how people talk, you give it to your editor, and then your editor changes like half of what you have written. How do you know, or how do you know when to fight for that word or when not to fight for that word? Is there a way to figure that out?
That has never happened to me.
All right, excellent, good.
I
Nice.
have
So,
an
so
editor
you're
now. I have an editor now, and he will suggest a different word here and there or a correction, but everybody needs an editor. And
yeah.
his suggestions are very, very modest because I don't let anything out of the house these days unless it's a home run. It
Mm,
didn't used to be the case, but one of the bright spots in my life is I believe I'm getting better as a writer. And I'm very happy with the work I do. When I write a story, uh, I have 3 rules. Now, rule number 1 is it's my job to entertain. That's first and foremost. That should be obvious, but apparently it's not.
yeah.
Number 2 is show, don't tell. Comics are a visual medium. And I always think of the show Better Call Saul. I loved that show.
Mm,
And it would often begin with a 5-minute wordless sequence where the camera is just following someone, like Mike Ehrmantraut, for example, as he bullshits his way into a factory. And then he gets in the locker room and he picks somebody else's locker and he takes out a legitimate ID, and then he leaves the factory, and then he comes back the next morning when they're checking into work and they check his ID and he's got this new identity and they
mm,
let him in. And so he says, "Oh, I see, I see what's going on." That's just one example.
yeah.
Um, it doesn't have to be silent, uh, uh, but you have to be realistic about these things. And another thing is fight scenes.
Yeah.
People they don't talk while they're fighting. They're too
I've
exhausted.
Yeah, I get that impression also, and I've always been surprised when I see these panels where like they're fighting, and as the guy's throwing a punch, he's got like a paragraph next to him, and then it's like really difficult to make that connection. And do you believe that a writer can also be an editor, or is that like a different discipline on its own?
Well, it is to a certain extent, although they're intertwined. I was an editor for many years. Before I was a writer, I was the music editor of the Boston Phoenix and later the music editor of Isthmus. And I would solicit articles from others and I would edit them. And now I do edit uh, when people want me to. I charge for it, uh,
Mm,
but I take the editing very seriously. And when people say, "I want you to edit my story," my first question is, "What is your story about?" And that's not a light question. You have to be prepared for that. You can't
mm,
just wing it and mumble something about orcs and spacecraft. You have to have a prepared statement. In fact, I wrote an article about it called "What's Your Story About?" And it's on my Substack column, mikebaron.substack.com. Please sign up and type in "What's Your Story About?" and read it. I think it's an
mm,
invaluable editorial. It's an invaluable article for anybody who wants to write fiction or anything for that matter. But we're dealing with fiction. What's your story about has 2 functions. One, it's an outline to follow so you know where you're going. But 2, and more importantly, it's an advertisement for what you're writing. You want somebody to read that and they put it down and say, "Holy shit, where do I get the book?" And that's the purpose of "What's Your Story About?"
oh, that's awesome. In your case, Mike, do you have formal training for writing, or is that something that you just picked up during your time in school?
Well, I always wrote. I started writing in high school. And then I moved to Boston because I heard there were newspapers there that would hire anyone who could string 3 words together. My first job out of college was smoking marijuana for the government. I answered an ad in the back pages of the Boston Phoenix looking for volunteers to live in a hospital ward in Mattapan and smoke government-grown marijuana every day for 30 days and take a battery of tests. It was just like college. And when I got out, I wrote that up and I submitted it to the Boston Phoenix and they bought it. And from then on,
Nice.
I worked my way up to music editor, and that's how I broke into writing.
At the time, you were taking like writing classes in college, or
Oh, yeah, I did. I took a few from Jerry McNeely. Jerry McNeely was a great writer. He wrote for television. And Jerry said,
nice.
you make them laugh a little bit, you make them cry a little bit, you scare the hell out of them, and that's entertainment.
Oh, nice. So you are by no means like a self-taught writer.
Mostly, but
in
I
part.
did take acting. I did take writing courses in college. I wasn't that serious about it. I wasn't on fire. It took me a long time to get where I was comfortable with my writing, and not with the comics. I always knew I could write comics, and I could, and I did.
Huh.
But when it comes to novel or straight prose, it just took me a long time to get there. But when I'm here now, and the thing is that when you understand story, what constitutes story, and there's a million things, but when you understand it, you don't make a wrong turn. And young writers are always saying, "Oh man, I just wrote a novel. Will you read it? Will you tell me if it's any good?" I don't have that problem, and none of the professional writers I know of a certain level, I mean, commercial writers are actually making money at it. They don't have that problem either because
Huh.
they know how to write. They understand story and they don't take wrong turns.
Is it recommended or advised to write yourself into a corner? Because I've heard that expression before. Like you should write to where you're like, you have to think hard to get yourself out of situations. Is that advisable? Is that recommended?
I have never thought that way. I understand how some people can think that way, but writing is an adventure. It's often an adventure of discovery.
Hmm.
And once you start writing, at some point you're going to veer away from that outline. Also, as any good writer knows, when you create a credible 3-dimensional figure, at some point he's going to turn around and tell you what he's going to do next.
Hmm. Interesting. And awesome. And let's see what else. Do you believe that there's a connection with writing and reading? Do you think that if you read more, you will become a better writer, or is it just
Absolutely.
specifically writing more? What is your
Absolutely.
opinion on that?
Writers have to read. I have a bathroom book, a bedroom book, a kitchen book, and a car book.
Does the same apply for comics? Like read more comics to write better comics?
No.
Okay. How would you? What thoughts do you have on that?
Well, as I said, most comics are pretty bad.
Okay.
And there's not really much to be learned from most contemporary comics. If you want to learn from the masters, read Uncle Scrooge or
Nice.
Terry and the Pirates.
Do you have any other favorites apart from Scrooge and the Pirates
Well,
that you would recommend, like for someone to dive into, like a well written story?
I think Steranko's original Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. comics were explosive, and they blew my mind. No one's going to mistake them for the real world. They take place in a comic book world, but they resonate because Steranko understands the form, and in context, what the characters say sounds credible. But more importantly than that, his artistic style blew comics up. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before. And I don't think anyone's really ever achieved the heights that he has achieved, with the exception of Paul Gulacy during the height of Master of Kung Fu. But Paul is no longer producing.
Oh. Fascinating. And so you recommend Steranko? Excellent. What would you say would constitute bad writing? Is like what words like or what things you see that completely like just turn you off should not be done in writing for comics?
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I do have an example here, and I think it's something that Stan Lee wrote. And when he wrote it, uh, I think it was probably appropriate to the time and place, but he created a style that hundreds of comic writers have followed ever since, and it's no longer appropriate. It sounds hackneyed and ridiculous. And here, I'll just see if I can find this. It's called, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I'll pull it up if you have it.
Oh, hey, okay, hang on a second. I
Yeah.
will. I'll put that up on X and I'll show it to you.
Yeah, and I'll take a look at some of the comics here. We have questions.
I have
And
questions.
yeah, yeah. If you have any for me, please, at any time, or for the chat also. And we have Dennis here. Says, question to Mike: when are the digital versions for Leviathan going to be emailed? Because yeah, I'm
It
waiting for
should
that.
be any minute. I mean, they're done. I don't know why they're
Yeah,
not out there already. Don't
awesome.
hesitate to ask.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my copy also. Sweet. Oh yeah, I'm thankful, very thankful that you have these digital options available because, yeah, because that just it works great for me. And I got Thin Blue Line, Private American, the Sherlock. I'm a
Okay,
big
take a
big
look at
fan.
that.
Yeah, let's
Take a look at that. Put that up on the screen.
There we go.
All right. See that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, what he's saying is, then turn and stare in abject awe at Doom the First, the new ruler of the world. And then Mr. Fantastic says, at long last, it's the two of us. It was always meant to be. That's not so bad. But what Doom says there is so narcissistic and stupid. And unfortunately, thousands of comic book writers and addicts have taken that as their Bible and tried to replicate Stan's language. And it just doesn't work out. It does not work out.
Yeah, he's really hooked on to I think the word is alliteration. Where it's like everything starts with the same letter, like the pompous Paul privately,
Yeah.
pumps. No, yeah, that's he overdoes that, but it works great in some cases because I'm a fan of the Spider-Man comics from back then. But
Sure. And
but
I'm a
it could,
fan of Stan's writing back then,
yeah,
and it was appropriate because he created a world of his own, and that kind of language was true to that word, to
yeah,
that world.
definitely,
But I'm at a place where I have to have a serious story. I don't care what the medium is. If a story doesn't take itself seriously, why should I take it seriously?
yeah,
Now, of course, the exceptions to this are comedies, but very few comedies are funny. Less so these
mm,
days than ever before. And that's
yeah,
because these people that write them, they just write outrageous things and say things that are forbidden. And it's like saying shit at a fancy dinner party and everybody laughs. But true humor arises out of absurdity, the juxtapositions of things that don't belong together.
mm,
And it can also be silent. It can be in a gesture, the way people look at each other. Uh, and that's hard to do. And when I think of funny movies, really funny movies, I think of Tootsie, starring Dustin Hoffman. That's honestly
mm,
funny because it creates an absurd situation where Dustin Hoffman turns himself into a woman to get a role. And of course,
mm.
this is before the day of transsexual women. Because it's no longer an appropriate subject for humor, but it was very funny
Yeah,
back in the
definitely.
day. And also the Marx Brothers, and the funniest Marx Brothers movie is Duck Soup, which I recommend if you've never seen it. And W.C. Fields, he was hilarious. The bank dick. I mean, you'll laugh out loud at some of that stuff.
What to do in cases like, for example, when something's funny for you, you get a kick out of it, but then you present it to someone and nothing.
Why?
Go back to the drawing board.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't do that. I don't. Here's one of the secrets: is that there's humor in everything I write, as there should be humor
Mm,
in every story, no matter how serious it is. But the humor must rise organically from the characters and the situations. And that means you don't force it in. You don't have a joke and say, I'm going to stick this joke in here. You got to hold that joke until it's appropriate.
That's right.
And by a joke, I mean a humorous situation, because jokes per se are not that funny. You don't tell jokes. I mean, stand-up comedians, you watch Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He's not telling jokes with punchlines.
It's a story, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, he's telling stories and situations, and they're just naturally funny because of the way he sets them out. I mean, there's one thing I remember him saying is he was a huge fan of Andy wait a minute, I think this guy's a Canadian comedian. He starred in The Man in the Moon, which is the Andy Kaufman story. What's that guy's name? Help me out here. Here, I'll get it.
The movie, the actor for that movie, Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. Huge Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah.
So he got invited to the set of The Man in the Moon. He says, I'm so excited. I'm going to meet my hero, Jim Carrey. And I go there, and Jim Carrey's in character.
Yeah,
he's Andy Kaufman. I say, Jim, you know, I loved you in The Mask. I loved you in Nature's Call. And Jim Carrey looks at him as Andy Kaufman says, what? I don't know what you're talking about. And it went on. He said, and I kept trying to talk to him through the whole time we had together, and he never once broke character. So I never once got to meet the real Jim Carrey. And that's the way I feel about men who claim to be women.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was funny, you know, because he did that segment in the comedy show. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, man.
And which is another secret of comedy is that it's rude. It's not politically correct. If everything were politically correct, there would be no humor, because that's not funny. That's a joke at the expense of differently abled lesbians of color. You can't say that. In fact, I mean, the only group that it's acceptable to make fun of are straight white men. And you can make fun of straight white men for sure if you know how to do it.
Yeah, that's the easy target. That's what everybody always attacks. And then just saying hello to people in the chat. Headless Burgoyes, hail Elliot, hail Mike, hail chat.
That's
Stormtrooper. Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming by. And Stormtrooper Julian Caesar says, I've got a bad feeling about this. I don't know if this is about this stream or things that you should not write.
That's a cliche.
Yeah, cliche.
That's a cliche. Headless, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yes, the Renko comics are great. We got a Galaxy Stranger in the chat. Thank you for stopping by. Awesome stuff. And so tell us, I think like one of your first big breakout jobs, gigs that you had was doing this work for the Punisher. Yeah, how was it like when you got that assignment? What was that situation moment like? How did that come about? Because I think you wrote that on the heels of Badger, I think, right? You were. That's
why I got the Punisher. Chris Carl called me up and said, "Man, I'm really impressed with your Badger comic. How'd you like to write Punisher?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I would love to write Punisher." I approached it as a straight crime comic, and that was the key to the book's success. For 5 years, there was no dinosaurs, time travel, science fiction, or giant robots.
People are tempted to do that.
Drug runners, gun runners, human smugglers, crooked bankers, serial killers. I kept it as real as I could. The final 2 years, I got a different editor, so we changed it up a little, and the stories became a little more wide-ranging, shall we see. But I'm still very proud of my run on The Punisher. And I was appalled at what Marvel has done to him in the last 5 or 10 years. Because of that, I created Private American, which did very well, by the way.
So that's your response. We can say no to the monstrosity of the Punisher that we have now.
Yes, it is, and it will be, because Private American 2 is now in the works.
Nice.
And it's 10 times as explosive as the first one was. And I don't know if you know this, but when we announced Private American, the left attacked.
Yeah, big time.
The Daily Kos, which is a far left hate site funded by George Soros, ran a headline that said, Punisher creator Mike Barron releases another racist AF comic book. Well, a
Yeah.
couple of things is I didn't create the Punisher, Jerry Conway did. And number two, the person who wrote that article has never read anything I've written. Uh,
Mm,
and the book that I had announced, Private American, I had said that when we see him first, he's down on the southern border intercepting human traffickers. In fact, he's breaking up a rape.
mm,
And that drove them into a frenzy that anyone would oppose the open borders. And that's why they attacked me. So we took their headline and we splashed it all over the internet, and it boosted our funding by about 50%. And we hope that they will attack us again when we announce the new Private American, because as I said, it's 10 times as explosive as the first one. You'll have to read it to find out
it'll
why.
be it'll be 10 times as racist as the last. No.
Because there's nothing racist about it. There's not a lick of
No,
racism
yeah.
anywhere in it.
Hopefully that's the kind of a headline you get from it, because there's no such thing as bad publicity. No, that's what people say, right?
Well, that's their reflex. I mean, there's a certain segment of the population that doesn't find humor in anything because life isn't funny, and it's always the fault of somebody else. It's never their own fault. But professional activists are usually unhappy inside themselves, in and of
Yeah,
themselves.
definitely.
But they refuse to look inside, so they blame everyone and everything but themselves. They could get everything they want. They could get the perfect totalitarian dictatorship where 10% of the population live like kings and 90% live like slaves and are starving to death, which is what they want, and they still wouldn't be happy.
Hmm. Yeah, they always find something to nitpick, because that's not the end line, the finish line. No, their finish line is to just keep demanding without no end to that. Yeah,
Right.
awesome stuff. And speaking of the Punisher, is there a movie iteration, a movie interpretation of the Punisher that you're happy with,
Yes, there is.
or did neither one hit the mark?
The perfect
Which one was?
Punisher movie. The perfect Punisher movie is The Equalizer, starring Denzel Washington. I'm serious.
Awesome. So none of the named the Punisher movies are any good in your eyes.
It's such an easy character to get right, but they just can't
Yeah.
do it.
Nice. Awesome. The Equalizer. Yeah, good. Yeah. So, or aesthetically, at least the costumes. Are anyone that you liked, or any, or story wise, anything that came close to anything that you would have envisioned for him, other than the Equalizer?
I thought Ray Stevenson was the best Punisher.
Ray Stevenson.
He was in War Journal, which is a terrible
Yeah.
movie, but he was very convincing. I like John Bernthal too, but that series on Netflix was needlessly convoluted. And again, he's a very simple character to get right. They don't need to go with all the conspiracies and hidden agendas.
Yeah.
You should just go after the crime, you know.
And now that you're writing this story of Private American, and you've seen that it's gotten this spotlight from the left, do you write now for, like, are you writing right now Private American #2 or #3
It's
with
done.
trying to fight with these ideas, or is just, or are you
No,
going
no. As I said, rule number one, it's my job to
entertain?
entertain.
Hmm.
Rule number two, show don't tell, and rule number three, be original.
Hmm.
The new Private American incorporates enormous changes that have recently occurred in our society that would not have been possible a year ago. But it's a much tighter story. It embraces certain themes that you will recognize, uh, and it will make you laugh.
Nice. Awesome. Uh, and have you ever considered mentoring other writers?
I do all the time.
For example, I saw you tweeted yesterday was a very positive remark about Richard Embree's the Blood and Sword 2. Other than that comment, was there any feedback given to him, or any other writers that do they reach out? Do you Do you consider
No,
mentoring type of thing?
no. Those of us in Comicsgate trade books back and forth,
Yeah.
and I read the books, and if I think they're worthy of praise, I say something about them. If I don't think they're worthy of praise, I don't say anything about them.
Mhm.
But I also am available for consulting. A lot of people ask to consult with me, and the first thing I do is send them that essay. What is your story about?
Awesome. I think I might do that. If you allow me, yeah, I'll love to do that to get some feedback because I always have doubts because, like, for example, I'll write a scene. I'm doing the writing for my own comic. Also, I don't consider myself a writer by any means, so I feel like I'm in definite disadvantage in that case. And so, like, I write things, and then there's a situation where the character can go this way, can go to the left, or they can go to the right, both giving different outcomes. And I always get caught up like which one is the best for the story, which one would be the most entertaining, and that has gotten me a few times while writing the story. I
Well, you
figured it
must
out,
ask
no, but
yourself, what would the character do,
yeah, okay,
given his or her personality? What would they do? What would their decision be? And that's where you go.
what would they do? Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Elliot, I got to run.
Yeah. No problem at all. Thank you very much for your time. And So, which, if I may ask you, like, which project are you currently working on or funding or fulfilling, other than Leviathan?
Third tenure novel, 11th biker novel, some projects I really can't name. But Bronze Star 2 is almost finished, and we will be launching that later this year.
Bronze Star 2, yeah, with Pat Broderick. It's an excellent artist. Excellent artist. You recently posted a page of the interiors for that, and was really great. Really great.
Okay, guys, if you're looking for
Awesome.
my stuff, it's at baroncomics.com. Follow me on at Bloody Red Baron on X and subscribe to my Substack, mikebaron.substack.com.
Awesome. All right, yeah, thank you very much, Mike, for your time, and yeah, we'll be sure, hopefully, to do this one more time, if it's possible, or
Sure.
or if we can. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Elliot.
Take care. Have a great one. That was unexpected. I thought it was going to go for a little bit longer, but it's okay. We can run out the last 10 minutes of the show because there is a few things that I do wanted to mention to you guys. Then it says Jason Aaron's Punisher was the "look how they massacred my boy" meme. Yeah, the last few things with him was just horrible. Not at all what we see on the screen. And so so that sucked. Then Quantum Age Comics. Hello, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. Galaxy Stranger. Hollywood refuses to do Punisher correctly. Yeah, I think it's intentional. I think they just don't want to give us that or give us anything, much of anything, actually, in reference to a good Punisher story. They don't want to do that at all. They want to go about other people's. They want to always change everything up and then do things to provoke and stuff like that. And let me share this. I have the links for everything that Mike has mentioned in the chat. I didn't get his Substack. I will put the Substack in the description at the end of the show, and yeah, we'll keep going for a little bit. I got some guests lined up for the rest of this month. It's going to look great. I have a show on Tuesday, and on Tuesday we're going to talk with. I forget. But we have a great guest on Tuesday. Then we have on Wednesday. I'm going to talk with Pete also about the printing situation. And I want to officially announce. Let me see if I can bring this up. Let's take a look at some ominous updates if time permits. Just bear with me, guys. I'll share this in the meantime. I did not like looking at my face. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, now let's talk about Ominus Avenging Death for a little bit. And the sign up link is Can you guys see that? Yeah, the sign up. Let me get the sign up list. Hold on. If I can find this in the chat. I had a whole lot more questions to ask Mike, and then he was gone. Maybe I didn't explain clearly that this we're supposed to go for about an hour, but I got 45 minutes, so that's pretty good. Hopefully, I can get him for some more time next time if he'll allow me. All right, in the chat, I have the sign up link. The sign up list is ready, and I have news in regards to Ominus Avenging Death. The launch of the campaign is going to be, the official date for the launch of the campaign is June 26th. June 26th. The link is now pinned in the chat. I would kindly ask you to please click on that. Sign up for Ominus Avenging Death. Is going to launch June 26th. June 26th. If you have already signed up, please be on the lookout. I'm going to send out an update email sometime this week or maybe next week. I'm going to make a video just to explain a few things about the book to make it a little bit more concise. I know, like Mike mentions, when someone asks you what the story is about, it's always a great idea to have a concise, very clear and concise and direct answer to that. This story is about this and that, so please please sign up. If you're new to the chat, if you're coming here for the first time, my name is Elliot Rodriguez. I'm an independent comic artist. I'm a Comicsgate artist. I'm a Comicsgate artist also, and I'm currently working on my own comic, which is right here. It's called Ominus Avenging Death. I'm launching this at the end of June, June 26th, and it's just to tell you very quickly. This is a 10-page. It's a 10-page short story. It's a fight scene between these two characters that you see on the screen. We have my main character on the left. His name is Zadok, and then we have the monster on the right. His name is Monger. And it's the 10 pages of them just fighting. They're fighting. It's a fight scene. And in the book, you're going to get the 10 pages. You're going to get extra content also, including concept art. I'm going to throw in an art gallery. There's going to be a world map to give you an idea of what world they're in and all that good stuff. And if you sign up, you'll be able to get a great deal for launch day. You'll be able to get 2 books for the price of one. That's 2 books for the price of one. Each book is priced at $10. But for this deal, for $10, you'll be able to get 2 books instead of one. And each book is going to be, the book itself is going to be 36 pages. So it's the 10-page story and extras, extra content, giving us a total of 36 pages. And you can get 2 books, 2 36-page books for $10. So sign up, please. Sign up. I would hate for you to miss out on that deal. I also have 3 variant covers that I'm doing myself, 3 variant covers for this campaign. And I'll give you, and people that are signed up, they will also have deals and discounts so that you can get those 3 books for the price of 2. And so please check that out. No, I would hate for you to miss that. So thank you, Headless Burgoyce. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Thank you. Yeah, Brawlstar is great. Let's take a look and see some of the comments that we had here. Bernthal's Punisher was a total meathead. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see the only Punisher movies I've seen is the Jane Thomas Punisher. I saw that movie. I thought that was pretty good, and then John Bernthal's Punisher, I thought it was good. I mean, the only exposure I've had to that was the Daredevil series from the first 3 seasons from Netflix. I saw the Punisher in that series, and I thought it was really good. But I haven't seen that Ray Stevenson one, so I'd have to see War Journal. He says it's a crappy movie, but maybe it's a good interpretation. It says The Accountant was a good Punisher movie. I saw that. Yeah, I saw The Accountant too, actually, not so long ago. It was a really good movie. I liked it. I don't know if the personality, the autism that that Ben Affleck had in that movie. If that would be similar to what Punisher has, but yeah, maybe that would be a good idea, no? A good take. And Mike Barron called on the phone me to offer a free consultation. Well appreciated. You got a free consultation from Mike? Oh, sweet. I'm about to get in on that too. And then everybody's doing a good job with Blood and the Sword. Yeah. I got the first one. I think the second one is already in the mail, or I think it's going to come in soon. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I like the art. The art is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I think it could be a little bit better, but it is good. The story is it's great. I agree that the characters speak like people really do speak. I think it's great. And yeah, I'm glad that he's getting the success that he is, and he's offering an excellent deal on that. You get that for $5. No, it's a great deal, because it's half of what I'm offering. So it's good. And then it says, when are you launching the Nexus Omnibus? From what I understand, he's going to launch it soon. I'm assuming like it's like just around the corner, like maybe in the month or so, because this has been announced much earlier. So I'm assuming around the corner. I'm assuming pretty soon. Bronze Star, yeah, Bronze Star is great. Mike is such a great guy. Yeah, I agree. Cheers, Mike. Jimmy the Lumberjack, what's going on, Jimmy? Thank you very much for stopping by. Hollywood is gay, or Hollywood is rainbow. There's a Substack. Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much. Just to give you here, just for a second, I'm going to show you the trailer for Ominus, so you can get like a feel for the comic, and then I'll show you some pages. Check it out. Yeah, and that's it. And that was the trailer. As you can see, it's a fight scene between those two characters. And let's check this out. I'm going to show you some pages. The art for this book is completely done, but I am going to rework it because there's some things that need to get changed. So let's take a look at. Let's take a look here. Hey. All right. So this is the cover. It's getting a nice gold treatment. The cover, the logo for this before was this silver color. The silver color is standard. Is going to be like this. It's going to be like this for all future comics, like Ominus 1, Ominus 2. It's going to have this silver finish. But I'm going with the gold finish for this premium edition. It's a premium edition version of this story, so I'm giving it, the good finish. So this is a unique collector's item for sure, because I'm not going to do this kind of thing always. I will change the color for the logo, depending on the artwork, but this gold seal, it's going to be unique. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the main character of Ominus, the world of Ominus. His name is Zadok. He's a farmer. He's 18 years old, and he recently and it's his birthday. Like the story starts off like right around his birthday, and he goes to run an errand, and in the middle of that errand that he's running, he comes across this disaster, and the disaster and this tragedy pushes him into fighting for his kingdom, not his kingdom, but the kingdom, the place where he lives. He lives in the kingdom, and yeah. But that is a story that we'll see in Ominus, like the graphic novel. Here in this short 10-page story is basically just him fighting this big monster. His name is Monger, and I introduced him a long time ago, like 2 years ago. And when I did, I got lots of positive feedback for the design. People got a real kick out of him, and so I'm working on the graphic novel, and it's going to take me a while. And so what I thought would be to entertain you guys in the meantime would be to have a nice fight scene, between Zadok and Deathmonger. To have those two guys just butting heads and just going at it. I thought it would be great. And I thought it'd be a great introduction to the world of Ominus. And so that's what I did. I went ahead and started drawing 10 pages. And here's the first page. So it's just the face off. And so as you can see, the inking, the pencils, the inks, the colors, the lettering, everything is done. And so this is the original version, the unedited, unrevised version. But at the launch of this campaign, I'm going to scrap the letters that you see here. So this ARG is gone. Some of the words are going to change. There were some grammatical errors that I made. And so right now we're starting clean again. We just have the art, we just have the line art, and I'm going to start doing the lettering again. And so with the idea of improving everything, because there's some mistakes that I made that some people picked up on, and so I'm going to implement those changes and then add that to the book. And so you're going to get a nice, like a fresh new book with new lettering, new words, and then art. Also, I'm going to add some more content. And so, yes, this is page 2. Here we have Deathmonger, and they're going at it. Later on, I'm going to reveal page 3, and I may reveal page 4 also, so you can give you guys an idea of the fight. Thank you very much, Headless Burgoyes. Please let me know if I pronounced your name correctly. Yes. Piedmont says, wonder why he didn't mention his work with H.H. German on Calico, Morality Play. It is currently funding on Kickstarter. Yeah, I was going to ask him about that because Calico is currently funding. He's got, Mike Barron has got so many comics and stuff going around. It's really hard to pick one that he's currently promoting. So my thumbnail for this show was just, Barron Comics, and just talk about everything he does in general. Try to nitpick his mind a little bit with for writing. I got some things, but there's some more questions that I would like to ask, and I didn't get a chance to do my lightning round set of questions, so that sucked. And it says Burluasi. I don't know what that. Yeah. What's up, Mutt, man? Great to see you, man. Hey, I have a question, a serious question. Breaking Rad, what happened to it? Let me know what happened to Breaking Rad. I mean, the show's like completely gone. Like you guys just stopped. That was a great show on Tuesdays. And yeah, so you guys please subscribe. Please sign up to the mailing list. You'll get some awesome discounts. And yeah. Buryuasi? Is that how you pronounce it? Buryuasi? Kickstarter, yeah. Thank you, Piedmont. I appreciate it. And here I'm going to change. Hold on. I'm going to share this now. And then I'm not going to leave you guys empty-handed. I am going to reveal something. Says thanks. We're still chilling with each other, just not doing the show these days. Busy schedules, dad life. Yeah, I get that completely, man. Yeah, I hear that. Awesome, man. Hey, and Mutt, your artwork is going to be in the book whenever you'd like to hop on the channel to talk about talk about hero number 2 or 3 or whatever you guys are working on. It'd be great. I would really I would enjoy that. And Pinimon says Calico is vicious. I can't wait to see what Mike Baron brings to the table. Yeah, definitely. He's always great stuff. Oh yeah, excellent. So Pitymon's got the links for Mike, for Calico. You guys, you can get that if you like. It's on Kickstarter. It's on Kickstarter, which I'm not too happy about, but it is what it is. And here, what I'm showing right now is the sign up list. So please sign up if you haven't yet. You have to put your name there. Let's see. Yeah, put your name there, put your email, and subscribe. It's a mailing list, so I'm going to be able to email you and send you updates. I'm also going to send you discounts and codes. I'm going to launch the comic on Fund My Comic, and so I'll be able to send you guys code or coupon codes so you guys can get free shipping. You guys can get discounts on different tiers, and yeah, so don't miss out, because if you're not subscribed, you're not getting these deals. And so I would hate for you to miss out on that. So please sign up and yeah, just sign up. It costs you nothing at all, and then you also have the option to unsubscribe whenever you like. Yes, there's no obligation. I don't want to spam you, bomb you with too many emails. I want to do like a once a month type thing. Just to give you an update of what's been happening in that month. And yeah, so I'll probably put out an email once a month, once every 2 months when I have significant things to talk about. So yeah, sign up so you can get some updates. The first email is going to come out next week, and then we'll go come to launch date. Launch date for Ominus Avenging Death is going to be June 26th. June 26th, I'm going to launch the campaign on Fund My Comics. So it's going to be on Thursday, and it's going to be on this channel. Yeah, so you guys on this channel will launch, and then we'll run that deal for 1 day. There's a small possibility that I may extend it for 48 hours because it's going to run until the Friday. I may do that. Not sure yet. But any announcements that I make, I will make on the channel or through the emails, through the mailing list. So please be sure to sign up. And then now, like I said, I don't want to leave you guys empty-handed. I'm going to show you some new stuff. Here is a page from the book. It's not sequential art, but this is a page that's going to be in the book from the campaign. I'm going to reveal to you a character bio for Deathmonger. I'm going to reveal for you a character bio for Deathmonger. So let's take a look at that. Let me stop sharing that. Let me start sharing this. Here it is. This is an actual page from the book that you guys are going to be getting. Take a look at that. Let me know what you think. Comment in the link below. What do you think of that? Is it great? Is it bad? Should I just stop my comics career today? Yeah, so this is a character bio. There's Deathmonger. Let's take a look. I'm going to let you read this. This is extra information about Deathmonger right here. I'll leave that there for a second so you can read it. Damn. What's going on, Dave? Dave, I didn't get a chance to confirm, but I think I will be able to make it that Sunday that you mentioned. I think it was the 20. Well, I'll DM you, but yeah, that Sunday I would like to jump on your show, please. If you can if I can still schedule that, then that'd be great. It completely crossed my mind, man. Thank you. Looks great. Yes, yeah, thanks. Yeah, so thank you very much. Galaxy, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh man, thank you. Yeah, so this is like the format that you're going to see for the character bios. This is, and I'm going to have four. I'm going to have one for the characters that appear in this book. So I have Deathmonger. I have the hero Zadok. Also, I have his friend Silas is going to be in there. They're going to have these character bios, and and then the fourth is going to be a mystery. And I'm not going to tell you guys that, so you guys got to get the book to get that. Only $10. It's not a lot. So let's take a look here. No, it's a Deathmonger. His job, he's a minion. I don't know what you guys think about that. Height 8'2". He's a big guy. Weight 1,200 pounds. It's a big guy. Age 42. How is he 42 years old? That's part of the story. No, that's part of the main story. This is not going to be revealed in this comic, no. But part of the main story, when you get the first graphic novel, I'm going to reveal. No, the second graphic novel, I'm going to reveal like how that happened. No? He's got no weapons. His hometown is this Narthonin. Narthonin is the name. That's his hometown. Powers and abilities: super strength, super speed, super agility. He's super fast. He's not a big sluggish galoot. No, he's big. He's fast, which makes him more dangerous. Immense durability. Think like the Hulk. Bone protrusion manipulation. So these thingies here, these spikes, they're not just standard like that. They can grow, and so we'll see that in the story. No, but not in this first story. But that's just to give you an indication of what could happen in the future. Because I got a lot of great ideas for this character, and I don't want you to miss out. No. So I'll read this. It says, Deathmonger is an undead ogre warrior from the hidden town of Narthonin. Narthonin suffered a devastating attack at the hands of Necronox as he searched for the second piece of the Death Relic. The ogre that would become Deathmonger was among those slaughtered during the attack on Narthonin, and shortly after that attack, Necronox was able to find the coveted second piece of the Death Relic. Using his newly found powers, Necronox created Deathmonger to fight off Zadok and Silas as Necronox made his escape. Deathmonger is imbued with the powers of death to a minor degree, and those powers give Deathmonger incredible strength and agility. Despite his size, Deathmonger is remarkably fast and relentless in his attack, wreaking havoc wherever his master directs him. He has no will of his own, making his only ambition to obey Necronox's every command, which is something he does with great intensity and determination. And so that's this big guy here, and he's gonna, and that's who you're going to see in the book. Trading card for sure. Yeah, I might do trading cards. I might. This is not going to be a trading card, but I might do a trading card. I do have that possibility. I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if it depends on the performance of the campaign, because I don't want to stuff the book and the board in the bag with just a bunch of tchotchkes. If people like it, I will. But I will. It depends. I definitely have an idea to do trading cards, but this isn't going to be the format. I'll have to design that when that time comes. So this, for example, I designed myself. I'm doing the graphics for all this. I'm doing everything on this book, so it's a lot of work. He isn't the hero's dad? No. No, Zadok, I am your father. No, it's not. Yeah, 1,200. Yeah, I think that's a lot. He's a heavy guy. Yeah, he's a heavy guy. That would be 600 kilos. Yeah, that's a big guy. Yeah, he's a big guy, 8 foot, big dude, buff, bones, muscle, spikes. I think it's appropriate. And so yeah, so this is the big reveal for today. The Deathmonger character bio. We got a lot of good information about Deathmonger. So you're going to see this in the book. This is a page of the book itself, and I'll have more. Also, I'll have more pages, more stuff to for you to take a look at, and then I think that'll be it. I think I'll leave it there. So please subscribe to the mailing list so you get a great deal. I don't want you to miss out on the great deals that I have. And yeah, that does that. So here's the mailing list right here in the chat. Just click on that, sign up, put your name, put your email address, and then you'll be set for that discount on June 26th. And I'm probably going to stream early. I'm thinking of streaming about maybe 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so like an hour earlier than normal on that Thursday. So yeah, that's it. So thank you very much, guys. I will see you in the next show. I have another show coming Thursday, and Thursday I'm going to interview. Hold on, let me tell you guys. I keep forgetting. I got a bunch of these things scheduled. Oh, snipe. Yeah, I got Salty coming on Thursday. So Thursday, I'm going to talk to Sean Salter. He's in the final days of his campaign, Silence Do Good. So I'm going to talk to him about that, about his time-traveling hero. I'm going to talk about his incredibly impressive foil cover. How did he get that? I want to just talk about him and that. How did he manage to do that? And all that good stuff. So you guys tune in on Thursday when I talk to Salty. And then I will have more shows coming next week also. Yeah, I want to talk to Pete Samedi also next week. I want to talk to Apex that Tuesday also. So I will be announcing this as we move on. So for this Thursday, I'm going to be interviewing Salty, Sean Salter, Salty Draws. He did the cover for Wraith of the Elephant, Daisy. And he also did the cover for Cody Dennison's book, and he's working on his own comic, his own IP, and he's at 10K. So we're going to take a look at all that good stuff. And I'm going to bring Pete on the show also because he's got a major breakthrough in the indie comic scene, and I want to be one of the first to interview him about that. He has revealed and announced that he is on the cusp of becoming an in-house printer itself, so he can print comics himself. I may work with him on that also and try to get some newsprint Ominus books at a much cheaper price, maybe. So if I can manage 10, I could probably manage something even cheaper than that. And we'll take a look at the dimensions because I think he's got ash can sized books for the moment. An ash can sized newsprint for an Ominus I think would be great. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it would be. I would think it would work great. And yeah. So that's it. That'll wrap it up for today. I'll see you guys on Thursday, and please be sure to sign up. Please sign up. The link is here. It's pinned in the chat. Sign up. Click on it. Write your name, your email. Sign up, please. And that's it. So I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day. And yeah, thank you once again to Mike Barron for coming on the show. He was here just for 40 minutes. I didn't get much more time. I didn't get to ask him all the questions that I wanted, but he's a busy man, so I can't really say anything about that. So yeah, so I will see you guys later. You guys have a great one. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.